MineMogul is the simple man's factory game. It is also very early access. It's so early access that tools come with warning labels that say, if you use this, everything will probably go wrong. But despite that, every time I hit play, I time travel 3 hours into the future. It definitely scratches that factory making itch in a satisfying way. You are some guy who bought a mine to sell minerals for profit. The goal is to make that money number go up, with automation. You start with a pickaxe, bash a few rocks, throw it in the bucket and make a few nickels. And all the rocks are physics objects, so throwing them around is awesome. Then you use those nickels and buy an auto miner and then throw more rocks into the bucket, and then you get conveyor belts and an ore crusher to purify the ore and sell for more money. Then realize you're accidentally crushing the gems that the auto miners have a small chance of making. So you have to put a sorting machine on the conveyor so you don't miss out on precious gem money. Then you get more auto miners and more machines for refining stuff, and more, and number go up. And 4 hours later and I've somehow managed to build something that actually works really good with the limited space that I have. What I've built is a circular filtration system. It sends everything in circles and hits filtration points. Like one filters for copper and then sends the copper to a forge, which makes copper bars, and then another filters the coal, which then goes and gets water blasted, which destroys the coal, but it might produce valuable gems. You know the dwarven gold greed craze thing in The Hobbit? This thing does something like that to me. It goes in circles to completely eliminate the coal and then sends the gems out. But then at the very end, the bars and all the other valuables get polished and then thrown in the money bucket. It's an ugly spaghetti mess, but I'm proud of it, and I love it. And it's mine, and if you say anything negative about it, I'll die inside. I'm also making gold in some other corner of the cave, and I managed to make that work with this mess. And oh boy, is this cave actually big. Well, not necessarily big, but long and confusing. And I keep getting lost in it. Like literally any time I go a little deep into the cave, I get lost. And somehow I always find new parts of the cave. This is a maze, not a cave. When you go deeper in the cave, you get more resources and more challenges, and the game has a quest system that gives you a guided path for your factory. Like you get a quest to make crushed coal, and so you create an isolated system for it to send to the cell bucket. My solution to that was the Triple C, the crushed coal cannon. It shot the coal over my factory so it landed near the cell bucket. But the problem was that it kept making the polishing station dirty, making it not work for a few seconds. The solution would have been a wooden wall, but I hadn't unlocked that technology yet, and only had targets. So crushed coal kept getting through that, but this was temporary anyway, so I just said whatever. But then I complete that quest, and then this isolated system gets plugged into the main factory. And I make it fit and work, and that was very addicting. There was always a new thing to figure out. You start by just making it, like how do I make copper plates, and then you make it and then you figure out how to make it work with the main factory. And you make little changes all over the place so it becomes better. Constant iteration, and through 1,000 little fixes and tinkerings, you have made a big, beautiful machine. I call MineMogul the simple man's factory game because it's small and accessible. The challenge is that you have limited space. In other factory games it can get overwhelming when you have to plug 5 different things into a machine, and it can just become more work than fun. But so far in this one it's kept itself more on the simpler side. With the challenge mostly being around getting conveyors through the cave system into the correct machines and then over or under other parts of the factory and onto the main factory conveyor. Using the limited space effectively, and you have a lot of tools for that and a lot of challenges to overcome. And there are more complicated challenges in the game, like making steel needs coal in one hole and then iron into the bigger hole. And that has 3 outputs, which have molds. So you can make a bunch of different stuff from the same machine. And to make certain things, it will have to go through 2 to 5 different machines, which gets complicated and hard with a limited space. So it is still complex because it is a factory game, and by their nature, factory games are complicated. But I've played a lot of factory games, and this one is among the simplest. And that makes it a great first factory game to play. MineMogul is great, it's really promising, it's one of the most accessible factory games, and the ore being physics objects is the most unique aspect. I can't think of another factory game that has that. And that's something you have to account for when you build the factory. Like, I often have ore falling from a higher conveyor onto a lower one, and sometimes the ore can fall a little too far and then bounce off something and then fall right into my polishing machine. It doesn't even matter where the ore falls wrong, somehow it will end up in my polishing machine. You can prevent this with chutes. That gives you control over how things fall, and you also have conveyors for straightening out ingots and plates, which are big and annoying and never fit anywhere. You'll spend a lot of time in this game just cleaning up all the ores that fell on the ground, and honestly, I love it. Throwing the physics objects around is so fun. Managing physics and the limited space, that's the main challenge, along with remembering where and how you're making everything. It's great. The gameplay loop of small iterative changes, upgrades and additions that lead to a big spaghetti monster is executed really well here. It's early access and needs more work, like money stops being a limiting factor very quickly. And I really want an ore elevator into the game, so that the sloped conveyors aren't my only option in making ore go up. What I'm thinking of is called a chain bucket elevator, and it's used in real life. Some lights I could hang up around the cave would also be nice, but what's already here is really fun, satisfying and engaging. From the moment I turned the game on, I was hypnotized. 3 hours passed before I even realized. And there's even more to this game than I've talked about. I haven't reached the end of the available content. And there's more on the way. And I've been holding myself back from playing this game too much because I want to save this game for the future when it's closer to completion. But it's too fun, so it's hard. The dev has hit something special here, and it's gonna be one of the great factory games. I recommend the game. It's a great game as a first factory game to see if you like the genre, and it's great for factory game veterans who want something smaller and simpler to relax. I give the game the $15 this game costs, out of the coal water blasting machine. Seriously, this thing is cool. It's high pressure water blasting coal into dust to free the gem trapped inside. Like a moth breaking out of a cocoon. So beautiful. I think I need to go outside. Next game is something cool probably. Until then, like and subscribe, call me Uncle Brian, and have a wonderful day.